Hi, my friends. The updates on the shooter are as follows. We know that the individual is Alan Cole. He's a 31-year-old school teacher from California. The interesting thing is, he actually had a degree in mechanical engineering. So, if you got a degree in mechanical engineering, why are you teaching school? Because you're going from a degree that should pay you a lot of money to a degree that barely pays you any money. And maybe the solution, the real answer is he was a failure in life. He couldn't make the grade where his degree was, so he chose something else. And of course, teaching is a profession that has a lot of liberals in it, not so much for mechanical engineering. So maybe he fit better in that community, but he's obviously a disaffected individual. And disaffected individuals are more prone to attack. He did make Teacher of the Month one month, and we've seen that already from his bio. But still, he should be a mechanical engineer earning a decent salary, not a teacher earning next to nothing. And so that really, again, smacks at the idea that he was really probably a failure in life. And, disaffected people, the kind of peoples that cause trouble a lot of times. They're disaffected individuals who are most apt to act out and do heinous things. People who just didn't quite make it in life. People who took the wrong road and regretted it. And there's many ways of taking a wrong road. And I think we kind of find that a lot of times. He's obviously from the liberal woke side of the house. And I think we find, this kind of thing from that side of the house more often than not. So, the guy obviously had issues. And I just did a live session where we showed uh, Donald Trump's live speech about it. And I showed a video of him running through the lobby or the hallway there, trying to get to the entrance of the ballroom where the president was, going to be addressing his White House Correspondents' Dinner. The guy was running fast. He was dashing. He definitely was quick, but they still stopped him. He was firing on his way. They stopped him, and that's a good thing. He apparently had a shotgun and maybe a pistol and knives on him, so he was heavily armed. Uh, Now you would think that if he was, well, a shotgun is an indication that you're going to try to do an assassination fairly well at point blank range, but also that you'd be under movement, so maybe you wouldn't have time to take an accurate shot, which is probably true for the kind of conditions he was going in. You run into a ballroom full of Secret Service agents, you probably don't have time to take aim. So maybe that's why he chose a shotgun. So he what do you have? Buckshot in it, probably. He apparently shot a Secret Service agent, but hit them in their protective equipment, and so the individual probably was badly injured. It was probably you get hit by a weapon, even if you're wearing a bulletproof vest. It's kind of like getting slugged, but at least it don't penetrate you. So we'll see how all that comes out. All right. All that aside, we'll learn more is that tomorrow press is on. They're going to do a lot of investigation this individual. They think he was a lone wolf. And with all this TDS, Trump derangement syndrome, with all the hatred out there, a lot of people are talking about taking him out. Maybe he thought he'd be a hero, at least in the eyes of some, yes. Maybe he wanted to make a name for himself. Maybe it's his way of bringing his life to closure because he was already probably a failure in life. So again, why not call him a failure in life? Again, if you just join it, the man had an he had a mechanical engineering degree. He should have been drawing at his young age a really handsome salary as a mechanical engineer. But instead, after getting a mechanical engineering degree, he went into teaching, a low grade salary profession by comparison, although in California, teachers are probably decently paid, but still, big difference. He wasn't operating at the level he should have been for the degree he had. Now, some people do get passed along in college, All the engineering schools are generally pretty tough, but maybe he cheated his way through. Well, how did he get through school and can't land a career in his profession? Engineering's a tough field. It's really a tough field. And I can't say that engineering school really adequately prepares you for it because it's too much, it's too theoretical, too theoretical. The theory is tough, but the theory don't really match the applications in the real world too well. So, but still, anybody that made it through school should be able to work in the profession. Uh, so, um, heard it was a distraction. Jackie, I don't buy that. When somebody shoots at other people and gets shot, that don't sound like a distraction to me. Yeah, there's all that stuff coming up. Tons of people are going to throw out all kind of stuff like that. I take that as bull crap. Absolute bull crap. When somebody's running through a hall fast as they can run, shooting at people, and gets shot, and somebody's going to call that it's just a distraction. I've seen it already posted on Facebook and some other places. No, I don't buy that. I don't buy that for 2 seconds. Are we sending an aircraft to the Middle East? Yes. Should we? Yes. We ought to bomb the snot out of Iran. I'm going to go in that way. You're not going to like me saying that. I'm sure of that. I wasn't first getting in this war to start with, but now we broke the egg. We'll cook the omelet because we're going to pay dearly for drawing back and leaving Iran to rise again. So there you go. I'll put it up front. And that's going to make some of you mad. I'm okay with that. I wasn't for the war to start with, but once this started, we need to finish the job. So the guy had Trump derangement syndrome. Let me reiterate. This guy was a liberal woke individual. He donated to the Harris campaign. He had a mechanical engineering degree and worked as a school teacher. He had problems. He had issues. And there's some other issues about him. I won't go into too much here on the platform. It'll get me in trouble probably. But there were some other indicators of some issues that he had. So the guy had problems. More of this will be coming out. Just read the news on him. The individual had problems, but he ran. He ran through the hall, running to the entrance, trying to get by security. And he was running really fast. We saw the video. As in the beginning of my thing, he was shooting at people. He shot a Secret Service agent in their vest, apparently. So it didn't kill him, but he got shot too, what I hear. Although I didn't see a lot of blood laying out where he was at, so I don't know how badly he got wounded. At least they showed him laying down. I didn't see a lot of blood on the floor. So leaves a lot of questions. A lot of questions. Like I said, the OSINT, what's his name on X? OSINT Defender, I believe. I thought I had him queued up in my last video, but when I went to X, where I thought I had him queued up, it come back to some Elon thing. Didn't show what I was wanting to show you guys. But and maybe they took it off because he was claiming the guy got shot and killed, and that wasn't the case. So maybe even OSINT Defender deleted it. Maybe that's why I didn't see it. That's probable, and he was probably going on the information he had at the time. So, but that's not always the best. So apparently the guy is in custody. And his home is, you bet that the agents are all through his home, going through everything to see if there's any patterns or any connections, trying to make sure there's not somebody else involved in this. He might be fast, but he can't outrun bullets. That's true. The real question is reaction time. Because when somebody's coming through real fast, what's the reaction time of the agents there, and how fast can they train on target and take him out? And I've told you guys, and something a lot of civilians don't realize, if you can be seen, you can be taken out in 3 to 4 seconds, shot and killed. All somebody's got to do is see you. That's why I laugh at all these Hollywood movies showing some tough guy standing up with an M60 under each arm, shooting down 30, 40 people hiding behind bushes and different things. He would be gone in 3 to 4 seconds. I don't give a dog what. That scenario is Hollywood. You see it all the time in movies. It's pure Hollywood. That is impossible. It is just impossible. You will be taken out. You don't just stand in the wide open. Why did you get shot? Why did I get shot? I didn't get shot. I've been shot at and missed and and crapped that and hit a few times. But you asked me, why did I get shot? Oh, come on, ran. I'm not following you there, David. Hey, we got Davin. Davin, how you doing, Davin? I know Davin. Davin used to work for me back in Alabama, Tennessee. All right. Why did you get shot? And then I ran. All right, Davin, I'm not following you. Not following you, buddy. So let's say more. All right, let's see. I have such a feeling of dread these days. Yeah, things are messed up. Why did you get shot? Iran. Oh, why you, David? Why did I get shot? Why did you get shot and then Iran? Oh, I'm telling two different stories now. I'm doing an update on the shooter. Then I'm going to talk about Iran. It's just I got two different stories to cover now. I can't. I mean, the shooter is the big headline news thing, so I'm trying to give an update on that. But Iran is the other piece I'm going to bring out. So we'll talk about Iran a little bit too, because here's what's cooking with Iran. We got 3 aircraft carriers in the region now, 3 full-size aircraft carriers. We got the also the USS Tripoli, which is the amphibious carrier. I hear everybody call it a helicopter carrier. It's got F-35s on board. It's not just a helicopter carrier. You know, a lot of people put out half-baked information. I'm seeing this on some major channels that say that kind of stuff. No, it's got a bunch of F-35s on it. Now, those F-35s are configured where they can take off and land vertically. The F-35 is capable of it, like the Harrier jump jet. So, my bad. I got you confused. Okay. So the Harrier jump jet, you know, was a British version and take off like that and take, you know, vertically and take off without a runway. Well, there are versions of the F-35 that have a big turbofan. It can be ducted downward so it can take off like that. Not all of them carry that. You know, the Air Force versions don't carry it. The ones from naval regular full carriers don't carry that, but the Marine Corps uses that configuration. And they do use that on those amphibious assault ships, which are basically miniature aircraft carriers, which are as big as a lot of nations' aircraft carriers. So they're substantial capability, those carriers or amphibious assault ships, what do you want to call them, carry. And we've got another one on the way, which isn't there yet, in the Boxer carrying the Marine Excursionary Unit number 11. This Marine Excursionary Unit number 31 is already in place with the Tripoli, and they've already been involved in boarding some of the ships with a blockade. So they've already been active. So what's coming next in Iran? Well, we'll talk about that now, because Iran, why do you stay in positive mindset, Greg? I'm struggling with that because I ain't scared. Never told you guys to be scared. I said, don't be scared, be prepared. And I'm as prepared as I can be. So, you know, you don't live in a state of fear. You just got to be ready for what's coming. And that's what I'm all about on this channel. It's informing you so you understand what the risks are. But you got to also understand that understand the risk means you know how to prepare and know when to expect things to happen. Now, there are channels out here who tell you nuclear war is about to occur tomorrow morning. They tell you that every swinging day. And everybody keeps going back to those guys, watching them. Then they come over here and tell me I'm a fearmonger. What? You got to be kidding me. So, and look, I just lost my job, but I'm trying to figure out a way to survive. And I hope I can pull it off. But, you know, there's no point in just fretting all the time. I don't do that. I don't live my life that way. It's not a good state of mind. And you don't have to be that way. I do have faith. And so you don't have to live in fear. Just live prepared. It's like this. A lot of people told me in light of some of my close friends who've met their demise because they've been too close to the technology of anti-gravity and stuff like that. They tell me that, Greg, you got to stay armed. You got to stay armed. You got to stay armed. You know, you watch out for your sis. Guys, I don't got any clue what that's back end of. I'll tell you guys, I got plenty of firepower at my fingertips at all times. So if anybody's dumb enough to try anything, but I kind of doubt it. So that's why I say in a positive mindset. No, I don't have any, I didn't work directly for NASA. I was a contractor. I have zero retirement. So Social Security. That's all I got. And I can't even draw Social Security this year because I worked a little bit too long and I'm not at full retirement age yet. And I turned 67. So I had a misfortune being born 3 months too late to retire at 65. So it is what it is. Um, and that's a long story. I'm going to go into that later. You're asking me a life story, and I'm here to try to bring the news. And the people who watch the show in the morning, I really shouldn't even be reading the chat room right now. I need to just talk. So let me do that, and then we'll come back to the chat room because I do owe the people that watch us in the morning news first. So let's talk about Iran. We can come back and talk about me later. So the deal with Iran is this. Trump is making out like he's got all the time in the world. And, he does, in a sense, have time on his side because Iran is trying to outlast them. They think they can, but they are in a predicament since they can't get their oil out. That predicament is that if they stop pumping their oil wells, if they stop pumping, those pumps, all their equipment starts getting all kind of damage. All this equipment just has to run. When you stop running it and shut it down, some of it just don't start back without major repair. Apparently, this is really true in the oil field. There's also problems with the oil well. The oil wells will get water in them and different things, and so suddenly you're not going to ever get as much oil back out of them. You lose a lot of your resources. There's a lot of technicalities there. We're not going to go all into that, but essentially, it costs a whole lot more money. Hey, we got a super chat tonight. I appreciate that. Thank you very much, Carol, for the super chat. That's why I watch the chat room. You give appreciation. And so, guys, here's the deal. The Iranians got to keep those oil wells pumping. They got to keep that equipment working. But they filled up their tanks. Now they're trying to get some of their tankers and other things, Shadow Fleet stuff, and they're trying to fill those so they don't have to shut down their oils. But they only go so far with that, and they're going to have to start shutting things down. That's permanent damage to the key financial sector of the Iranian regime. If they lose that capacity, they're toast. So they've got maybe 72 to retire. They've got a real limitation on their side. Clock's ticking on Iran, but the clock's ticking on Trump too. And here's the thing with Trump's agenda. He's suddenly got his firepower in place. The Ford is probably a limited asset. It's been deployed longer than any aircraft carrier, probably since the Vietnam War. And it's also got some issues. Ford's got a lot of problems. It's a new aircraft carrier, and they really hadn't shaken all the bugs out of it yet. So I think toilets was one of the big problems with it. But the other thing is that, let's see, Artemis 2 and the Ford both having toilet problems. Imagine that. So the situation is that Trump's got a bigger limitation. It's the War Powers Act. Some people say, well, Trump's war is unconstitutional, blah, blah, blah. But you got to realize the Congress pretty much gives the president a free hand for 60 days. And after 60 days, according to the War Powers Act, Congress is going to have to approve what's going down. Now, he might try to find a little wiggle room for a few days, but at some point, the Congress could probably shut the money down on his operation or call him to the carpet in some fashion. Now, how he would wiggle around it, I don't know. Maybe he thinks that Congress will go ahead and approve it, but you got to remember, a lot of the Republicans are not happy because they're looking at the votes back home and thinking it's going to cost them an election. So a lot of the Republicans are not wanting to go along with this. And so they're going to try to call him back in. Well, basically, he's got to the end of the month because 60 days is basically 2 months. He started at the very end of, he started the war at the very end of February. Now, March had 31 days and April has 30 days. So you don't really have to the end of the month even. So, and today's the 26th of April. So, guys, he's only got 4 or 5 days. Might squeeze in another day or two, but he don't have long to act. And apparently, Israel and the United States forces have been drawing up big battle plans, big bombing campaign. So I would expect that might be initiated. Trump doesn't want to stop the blockade. Does the blockade require a War Powers Act to continue? Good question, because a blockade is generally considered an act of war, although it's not. He don't call it a blockade because it's actually not a full blockade on everything coming in and out of the strait. It's a operation of interdicting vessels going to and from the ports of Iran. So it could be considered a form of sanction. So he might find some legalistic wiggle room around calling a blockade and can able to continue that operation. I mean, that would certainly do Iran in. But I think for one, because of the reluctance in the party, he's been waiting and not wanting to attack. He has used the fact that the Iranians, Aragachi, who was under a lot of pressure from the RGC for negotiating with the West, has kind of backtracked on it. But now he's now made a trip to Pakistan. He's left Pakistan. He's on his way to meeting with Oman, and then he's going to Moscow. So he's trying to do some fancy finagling between countries that are more friendly to Iran, trying to probably to gather up allies or do something. We don't know what he's trying to do. But Trump's basically says, well, I'm going to call my delegation back from Iran, Pakistan. That's where they were doing. Islamabad is the capital of Pakistan. That's where they were doing the latest rounds of negotiations. Pakistan wanted the negotiations to go forward. So we'll have to see how Pakistan needs fuel. So, and Pakistan, though, has an alliance with Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia is wanting the United States to plummet and just wipe out Iran. Now, so why I was saying that the bombing probably will continue or we should finish the job is here's the dilemma. The dilemma is if the regime should survive and retain their nuclear materials, they will come back, and they will come back at greater force in time. And they would definitely be in a rush to build the nuclear bombs. They've had, they've got enough enriched uranium, about 940 kilograms, to make 11 old-fashioned atomic bombs. It could be now if they had the technology to make more advanced bombs and use these as the triggers for like hydrogen bombs, that they could actually produce several more bombs. Now we do know that they've got a direct link to North Korea. North Korea has had a predilection for exporting technology and now has hydrogen bomb technology apparently. So it might be that they could actually make more bombs. We know they lied to us and said their missiles only had a range of 2,000 kilometers. And then they launched missiles 4,000 kilometers out toward Diego Garcia. So Iran has intentionally withheld and hidden their true military power because they didn't want people to know just what they were actually capable of. And they've had apparently a full ICBM on the drawing board. Now, if you might want to dismiss that, you got to consider they've launched satellites. A satellite launcher is effectively the same thing as an ICBM. An ICBM is an intercontinental ballistic missile, which could be capable of reaching the United States. The Constitution of Iran calls for exporting the revolution globally. It's their religion. It's their faith that they are supposed to bring about a Shia overcoming of the whole world. That's in their constitution. Now, if you think they're going to treat us nice and warm, just consider how they treat their own people. When they mow down their own people, you think they're going to show any love for us? So that's why letting Iran, they've been exporting terrorism. They've set up terrorist cells and proxy groups on 3 different continents. And actually, it's more than that because they had them in South America. Hezbollah, they were sponsoring Hezbollah in South America, and those guys were probably crossing our border here into the United States. So they may, we believe they probably have some sleeper cell units here. Yeah, they've not activated them yet, probably because they're still hoping to cause Trump to lose in midterm elections. So I think they've held back for that because they're trying to survive. They think they can out survive the Trump administration on this. So if they can survive the midterm elections, they will consider it a victory. And what my real hope is that the protesters in Iran, the anti-regime protesters, can rise up and take over. But for them to have the ability to that, there's still a lot of IRGC forces in place. It might be necessary to attack them further to weaken the IRGC and the Iranian military itself. There's 2 different things. The Iranian army and the IRGC are not one and the same. The Iranian army or military is much bigger than the RGC, but the RGC holds the power. The RGC is the more ideologically religious fanatic set. And they have apparently, the RGC hardliners have increased in their power since this campaign has started. So they are a dangerous subset within Iran. So that's why I said we need to finish the job. That doesn't mean that we put boots on the ground. It just means we need to further. Hey, we got another super chat. Fishman, I'd rather see all this wasted war money be given to people who'd served this country like you. Well, appreciate that. But, guys, if we got to face an Iranian bomb later, that's horrible. If we can avert that day, we delayed it, but we haven't averted it. They still have the materials there. They still have the materials. So now that we spent it, it's probably not much more the Trump administration is going to be able to do. He's probably just got a few days to do something. So if they can just weaken the regime further, where maybe the protesters would actually have a chance to take over, and it's possible that if they look the right bridges and the right power plants, they probably won't have to take them all like he suggested. But if they hit the right ones, they could weaken the regime enough that we might actually be able to get a force in there to retrieve some of that material. That'd be a very risky operation even then, and take exquisite planning on the parts of our forces. I don't know if they can do that, but I think that is something that could be worthwhile. If we leave the current regime in power, if they stay in power, we're going to face them again in the future. That's the bad side. We will face them again. And next time, if it costs the Republican Party a midterm election, Republicans in the future are not going to touch it. They're going to let it fester and get worse and worse, and so will everybody else. So this may be the last best chance to deal with it. We may never get an opportunity like this again. The only other thing that might weigh in our favor is the drought in Iran. Believe it or not, that might take them down hard enough to take a lot of the wind out of their sail. I don't know. So it's like Allah doesn't really favor Iran. If he did, why didn't they get the snot bomb at them like they did? Yet the people that got that faith will rationalize it and keep their faith. It's not really, how good has Allah been to you? I'm talking facetiously. I'm not a follower of Allah in that regards by that name, but just kind of painting a picture, guys. First post credits him as a video game developer and part-time teacher. Oh my gosh. So you're talking about, like I said, we're going to find more. That makes him sound like even more of a loser to me. So he's definitely a loser. Like I said, the disaffected people are the most likely ones to attack. So, folks, I'm just putting it out there that there are time limits coming up. Now, who knows? Congress might, for some reason, give Donald Trump an extension. And if he just kept the blockade running for several weeks, the Iranian regime would be in a serious hurt. If, or maybe he'll actually bomb Kargalin. I don't know. Some people think you'd take it, or why don't you put forces in to take it over when suddenly you might be pulled back due to the War Powers Act? Don't make a lot of sense to put troops on Kargalin right now, or any of the islands considered. We're just days away from the War Powers Act limitation. But I don't know. We'll just have to see because, like I said, supposedly plans are being drawn up for something. And I did see an article saying Israel was just looking for the green light from Washington to attack. Israel just chomping at the bit. They want to attack. And apparently, this peace deal with Lebanon has kind of went south because Israel's attacking Hezbollah. Now, that's kind of odd to me. Now, there's a dichotomy. Uh, the only attacks apparently Israel are doing in Lebanon are attacking Hezbollah. But supposedly to stop that, there was a peace ceasefire between Lebanon and Israel. Yet Lebanon wants to get rid of Hezbollah too. So it seemed like, why do you need a ceasefire? What's all that? Some of that don't make a lot of sense, to be honest. So we'll have to see what that really means. We got Alaska in the house. Good to see you, Meg Rising and Rochelle. So there's just something odd about that you'd have a ceasefire between Lebanon and Israel, so Israel wouldn't attack Hezbollah, but Lebanon wants to get rid of Hezbollah too. So that's just an oddball thing. We'll have to see how that turns out. But supposedly, this is all probably theater because this attacks on Hezbollah was supposedly conditioned for Iran to negotiate peace. And when the original peace deal was struck, supposedly from Lebanon and Israel, Aragachi come out and says, "Hey, the strait's going to be open." And then Aragachi got called. He's the foreign minister of Iran. He got called to the carpet by the IRGC, the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps, and basically threatened with house arrest and execution. Well, I guess he's singing a different song, so they've let the bird free. Now he's flying around trying to negotiate some better deal for Iran with Oman, Pakistan, Oman, and Russia, but not negotiating with the United States. So, and Trump made another claim. We don't know what the veracity of it is, but he claimed that right after he decided to walk back out of the peace deal. Supposedly, Iran put a peace deal on the table. It was a lot better than anything they had suggested before, but he said it wasn't good enough. And apparently, he says, "I'm done negotiating. It just isn't worthwhile." So we'll see where all that goes. So, and the bottom line is that things in the Mideast are probably about to cook off, but maybe for a short time. Because the War Powers Act is, probably want to put it to an end, and we're just days away from that. So we'll have to see. So we might be seeing bombs fall Monday, but it would be over by Thursday or Friday. So that's just a few days. But with 3 aircraft carriers in the region, plus our Air Force, the United States could put a lot of hits on Iran. Iran has dug out a lot of the remaining missiles, and now we know where they're at. We know those missile launchers at. The Pentagon and Israel have been wanting to get at those for some time. Now, what they had done in the past is Iran had actually struck and done a lot more damage to our bases than what the U.S. apparently wanted to admit. But when you got so many missiles flying, of course it's going to do more damage. So you got to remember, in war, both sides try to put out the best face, and you don't always get all the information till later. It's called the fog of war. So, and gas prices are up, but who's really suffering? Europe and Asia. Now that's going to cause other pains to us down the road because a lot of the products we get from Asia are going to cost a lot more and be in short supply. And the biggest problem is going to be food. So I would highly encourage everyone to go to my True Leaf Market. I'll put a link to True Leaf Market in my show notes. You can go to True Leaf Market and get heirloom seeds that are non-GMO. and I'm about to put in a big order with True Leaf Market myself. About to put in a big order. We're planting a lot of stuff. So I highly encourage you to go to True Leaf Market and check those seeds out, because heirloom seeds are, air pollinated. They're the heirloom. They're the kind of seeds that when you get a full grown fruit, you can take, or vegetable, you can take the seed out and plant it, get the same vegetable back. The hybrid seeds, which you buy a lot of through a lot of seed companies, and what you find a lot of catalogs, and at the stores where you buy seeds in little packets, a lot of those are hybrid seeds. You plant them, you get a nice fruit, a nice vegetable, but if you save the seeds, you don't get the same vegetable back. You get something inferior. So you just got to bear these things in mind, because if the grid goes down, you're not going to be going to the store and buying seeds anymore. I tell you guys to garden in such a way that you don't have to go buy something. Now, Davin, he's in the chat room still. He can tell you that I didn't buy anything to put in my gardens in terms of fertilizers or nothing. Everything was natural. And just like I showed y'all in the videos, he's been to my place in Alabama. He's seen how I grew things. Davin can assert to that I use worm castings, worm tea, that natural compost. I didn't buy fertilizers. I didn't buy pesticides or herbicides. None of that ever. I never put that stuff in my gardens. So Davin can assert to that. If he's still in the chat room, still with us, Davin? Yeah, he worked for me in my property back when I had somebody could actually harvest worms. Back when we were doing the big worm harvest. Exactly. You can't beat worm castings. I'm growing worms now, and I hope to sell some worm tea. I ordered all the stuff to make worm tea, but for some reason, the company I ordered my pump from, they canceled the order, so I've had to reorder one. So that's delaying me. I'm actually going to give a local class on worm tea early in May. I got to go back and double check. I may not be prepared for that. So it's something I got to go back and check out. Cat's chewing on the strap to my nug. They chew on everything. Yeah, anyway, everything they chew on. They untie my shoes. I had some shoes I wore last night. I came back in and put them on this morning and started walking out in my car, and something's in my shoe. It's really sharp, hurting my foot. And I took off my shoe, and there's a piece of glass. I know that got in there because somehow the cat's playing my shoe got it in there. That piece of glass come from a nice heirloom picture they shattered. So they're extremely destructive. I'm outside soon. So anyway, let's do a share, and let's look at some articles. I got to pull up the right thing, guys. Yeah. So I'm gonna stop looking at the chat room immediately, and I will pull it up on my phone. I will go back to the chat in a little bit. But put this up on my phone so I can kind of monitor if we get a super chat or something. We got 2 super chats tonight. That's good. So I am going to be honest. The ads, I don't get paid but about $5 or $6 for the ads on these videos. It's pitiful, really pitiful. The super chats about all I got to do anything with. I've actually watched some of my videos, and they didn't run any ads on it. It was approved for ads, but it's like YouTube doesn't like me. That's pretty obvious. So we are crazy critters. They are. Anyway, so let's do this. Now, where's my share screen at? Give me a second here, guys. Takes me a minute, but I got to pull up the right page, and I got to hit the share screen. Ding, ding, ding. Takes a minute. All righty. Guys, y'all can help yourselves and help me at the same time, because one of the things I've warned you guys about several times is the contaminants in so many products we buy. It's like just about everything we buy on the store shelf is loaded with chemicals and sometimes heavy metals. And I did show you a report on toothpaste, and there was a test report I showed you guys that showed that over 90% of your toothpaste is contaminated with heavy metals. And that includes the toothpaste made specifically for kids. Toothpaste that are actually sold as healthy, green. They're labeled that way, and then they test them and find heavy metals in them. And you just don't know what all is in these things. And that test report wasn't even looking for chemicals. It was just looking for heavy metals. And we know that these other products are just chock full of chemicals. And we know that we've got over 550 different brands that have been bought out and run now by just 12 different corporations. And these 12 corporations change the formulations of a lot of these original products to make them cheaper, to make them last longer on the store shelf. And then they artificially augment the flavor because they take out some of the good ingredients. They artificially augment the texture. And so they do that with chemicals. And then some brands and some things you've got have chemicals that aren't even on a label. And I explained that in the video I did about this dishwashing detergent. I mean, the stuff that supposed to be the ones that's like good for your hands, like Dawn and stuff. It's supposed to be good and safe for you. Well, guess what? They got a lot of contaminants in them. But when you look at these 12 companies that control all this stuff, you'll find a lot of these guys are in the list over on the WWII's website as their partners. So anytime you buy any of these products, you're supporting that organization that tells you that you will have no privacy, own nothing, and be happy. And to make the situation even more complicated, you'll find these companies have controlling interest owned in them by the big three here, asset management companies. And the biggest of the big asset management companies, which owns the most of that, why is my thing spinning, is BlackRock. And BlackRock is run by Larry Fink, who also now runs the World Economic Forum. Interesting how that works, right? And that you will own nothing. And some people think, oh, we'll get everything free. No. Reason BlackRock's buying so many properties is so they can rent it to you at higher price. That's what they're doing. So this whole thing is to make you a renter. If you think you're a wage slave now, just wait. They put you in those 15-minute cities. And that was the plan for 2030. That's what their 2030 plan was all about. They thought they could put everybody in a 15-minute city riding a tricycle and eating the bugs whilst they flew around in their private jets and dined on caviar and steak. So that's what the elites of the WWIII had planned for us, those of us that allowed to survive. It would be living in rack and stacked ISO container shipment houses in 15-minute cities, riding around on our tricycles. And I think they just launched one of these 15-minute cities in United Kingdom. And if you're in this 15-minute city, you gotta have permission to leave. That's the plans. Is that you gotta have their approval just to even leave. So it's heinous. So if y'all want to support that, just keep buying this. But I got a way out so you can get yourself better products and not be supporting the House of Klaus. I created this website myself, switchwithgreg.com. And you come in here, and you find this introduces you to a family-owned company that's got something like 500 different products that are non-toxic. They are no chemicals in these products like all this other stuff, no harmful chemicals. In fact, they test everything extensively for consumer safety. And this is an American company. All the jobs are here in America. So you're supporting America, family-owned company, no WWIII, and you're getting to not have to get all these chemicals. So it's kind of a twofer. And so you can help yourself and help me too by going to switchgreg.com. Now, all you got to do is fill out this form. This information goes straight to me and to my helper, Lisa, who's a member of the community, and she'll get back with you and bring you on board with this. So switchgreg.com. All right, enough of that. Let's go over here and look at some of these news articles. Oh yeah, here's the other news article that I didn't mention. Heck, things crashing on my feet or something like. Oh, these cats. Oh my God. They're something. Uh oh my God, it got my egg carton breaking. Oh my gosh, these cats or something. Find a way to get them egg cartons. Less than eggs. I got a mess. You can't just can't put things up in a. I got a pile of aluminum foil. I put on everything before I go to bed at night. Try to keep them off things. And I put all these bottles up around my camera. I'm afraid they're gonna bust my camera. This camera was very expensive. These cats, they've already busted a lot of things that meant a lot to me. They're very destructive. Very destructive. Anyway, I'm crazy. There's a reason that the word catastrophe starts with cat. I fully understand that. They're still a little bit small to put outside, at least I mean, it's a matter of days. These things will probably be outside before the War Powers Act is invoked. My Cat Powers Act. So anyway, cats. I'm just about at my limit with these things. I can't put things up anywhere. Highest places, the most out of reach places they get to. Hang on, guys. Just wait a minute. Give me a second. These cats are causing so many problems. All right, guys. Hang on a minute. Oh, nightmare. So, what happened to my computer? My screen changed. Thought I was sharing a screen without my screen share. Here we go. Let's go back to that. Thought I was sharing screen. Here we are. Pardon me, guys. Oh, I know when I got up, I meant to grab the egg carton at Chick-fil-A. No, no. We'll do egg count. Don't try egg counts yet. Let's get through the news first. These cats are way out of line tonight. So, yeah. No egg guesses yet. Wait. Any guesses now? I'm not going to look at. You're going to have to wait. And if somebody gets ahead of the curve, I ain't got time to be scrolling around and checking on it. So right now, on top of my head, I don't know. I got to go back and look at my card. I think I know how many ads got, but. All right, let's get on the news here. This is another article kind of hitting what I was talking about. But see, I've talked about this already. I said we need to finish the job. I didn't tell you guys that after this article come out. I talked about that in previous videos. That's what this article is doing, because they're basically saying what I just said earlier, that we got a very dangerous outcome if we leave Iran with the nuclear materials. And I think that kind of goes without saying. I mean, I could go through this article, but I think you guys ought to understand what the gist of this is, because I've talked about it before my monologue tonight. And a lot of the stuff I'm pulling up is things I've been talking about all along. I put up these articles just to kind of reinforce what I've been saying. Trump revealed, I hate it when ads pop up just as like that. I tried ad blocker once, but I found ad blocker was worse than the ads. It just started popping up like a virus, and it took me forever to get rid of ad blocker. So here's an article where Trump says, well, Iran made a offer just minutes after the peace talks were canceled. He says it's a lot, is better than what they'd offered before, but not enough. Well, we don't know. Maybe they did, maybe they did. I think at this point it's pretty immaterial. Of course, that could be him just with trying to get them to negotiate and give them room to negotiate. I don't know. He canceled our U.S. delegation, but that was after Iran walked out. Iran never actually attended talks with us. They sent some people to talk to Pakistanis delegates, not to us. So that wasn't an actual negotiation going on over there at all. But Iran makes frantic news. This is where I'm talking about. They're actually putting oil in oil tankers now because their tanks are filled up. And so they're using some of their surplus empty shadow fleet tankers there. And ding, 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 ding. Okay, some of this stuff. And U.S. economic chokehold on Iran reaches peak leverage as collapse risk emerge. This is what I'm talking about. Their Iranian regime apparently is now missing $435 million a day. That's what they're losing by not putting out oil. So they can't really pay their defense forces. So they're facing some severe problems inside of Iran due to that. Is it enough to make the regime collapse? Probably not quite, but it puts a lot of strain on them. So that's what I'm saying. We probably need to hit a few more things over there to knock them down to the point where maybe the local protesters can take them out. Time is on Trump's side versus Iran, but not forever. Well, not a whole lot of time, and not forever is an understatement. Like I said, he's really got to consider the short time that he can actually count on using the USS Ford before he's got to turn it around. But more than that, he's got to consider the War Powers Act. And my clicker ain't wanting to click. Here we go. Let's see if we can get this article to scroll up. This is, this is talking about the War Powers Act. This article is asking, will Trump respect it? I think he has to in some fashion. I don't know if he will fully respect it. Like I said, maybe he can still keep the blockade running. It's the blockade that's going to do the most damage to Iran over time. And us putting a blockade on might be the thing that would get them to lift their blockade on their side. I don't know. We'll have to see. That might be something still negotiate. Here it is. U.S. and Israel plan huge assault on Iran as ceasefire prospects falter. Well, the ceasefire prospects faltering is already a done deal. There's really no active negotiations going on now. So I'm expecting bombs to start falling really soon. That's my expectation. If it doesn't happen, I'll be surprised. It might not happen. It may be because Trump is really wanting to mitigate losses to the Republican Party from the midterm. So maybe he will pull out on that. But so if something's not done, see, here's something else concerned. Iran is put out new sets of textbooks teaching children to destroy the great state in U.S. and Israel. So in their textbooks, they're now supposed to calculate, sending some of the test, the questions, math in there as, how long will it take for an ICBM to reach the United States and Israel, stuff like that. How long will it take to blow up New York City? Some of us might consider that urban renewal, but that's another story. Washington, D.C., Memphis, things like that. That's the kind of stuff that's going in their textbooks now. It's all geared toward, it's propaganda. It's all geared toward attacking us. So I said, guys, it's, a lot of people forget that Iran's actually cost several thousand American lives already, and by hitting U.S. embassies in U.S. embassies in Kenya, Tanzania, Lebanon. Of course, they blew up Marine barracks in Lebanon. But they cost a lot of American lives by sourcing the IEDs that were used both in Iraq and in Afghanistan. Those IEDs came from Iran. And it was General Soleimani that was the brainchild of that. And that's why Trump took him out during his first term. And Colonel Cole, who comes in my chat room sometimes, he lost troops to those. And he's still mad as a hornet about that. He lost some of his own guys, people he knew, to those IEDs. And he's not a happy camper to do that. So just letting you guys know. These are all things to take into consideration. So now here's the other thing. We've got a lot of people in the United States are suddenly sympathizing with Iran, actually choosing Iran. I think Iran is great and wonderful. Same guys who, they're talking about the regime, not the protesters. They're siding with the Islamic regime, just like they side with Hamas. Same people. Imagine that. The TDS reaches far and deep. So, and a lot of people made the accusation. There was a retired 80-year-old, long-time retired CIA analyst or CIA employee who's been long retired, came out and throwing out this stuff saying that General Kane had to stop Trump from using nuclear codes and blah, 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 blah. And, when I read the scenario, I said, this whole story don't even make sense. And of course, who's he to really have that kind of inside intel? And so some journalist asked Trump about that. And so asked if he was prepared to use a nuke on Iran. And he pops back and says, why would I use a nuclear weapon? We've totally, in a very conventional way, decimated them without it. He says, no, I wouldn't use it. A nuclear weapon should never be used, should never be allowed to be used by anybody. So he basically came out and said, why would I use a nuke? The nuclear weapon should never be used. So, yeah, he's really shot that down. But the whole scenario, the way that you get the codes, the way things work, doesn't make any sense. That guy didn't know squat about the nuclear code system or the military command chain, but yet his story was ran with by some news media outlets. So, oh, come on, man, let's cut that crap out. All right. With the world distracted, Hamas is rebuilding and prepping for its next horror show. October 7th, Hamas did some heinous stuff. And then Israel went in and whipped the snot out of Gaza and turned most of the world against Israel. But the reason they did that, they knew they left Hamas in power, or any Hamas people out there. It's like a cancer they'll metastasize and come back to the same thing all over again, which is what they are preparing to do. And it's similar to that with Iran. It's these fundamentalists who are so radicalized that will stop at nothing. You got to remember, there were people in Gaza who wanted the war to stop. They tried to make peace deal with Israel to end it all. And those Gazans were attacked by Hamas in the streets and made an example of it. So, yeah, Hamas, these people, how do you make peace with people like that? How do you make peace with people who are going to attack you to the last? Kind of like Khan in Star Trek 2. He's defeated. The last thing he does, he sets off that Genesis device, which totally destroys his ship and everybody on board, is in his last act to try to kill Kirk. And he thought that the Enterprise didn't have the warp drive, but supposedly Spock gave his life to fix it. That's they're kind of like that, kind of like Khan from Star Trek 2. They just fight to the last breath, the last one. I don't know. That's pretty radical. So that's just an analogy. So I got somebody attacking me on Facebook. I've accused him of being Khan. He just don't quit. Anyway, now this is on the gunman. Let's see this article don't look like it's all loading. We got some issues here. All my memory's maxed out on this laptop. All right, now let's see if I can scroll it. Nah, I may be shot here from memory. I even pull up my memory. What's going on? CPU at 100%. Yeah, I know what. Yeah, I'm shot from memory here. Now it's going down. Maybe I can scroll it now. Let's see. There we go. So as we first open an article, 31-year-old identified by federal law enforcement agents. Trump had 2,500 guests. Oh, come on. Show me all this junk. There he is on the floor. Yeah, stupid ads. Oh, screen sharing paused. Yeah, it was trying those stupid ads reading up so much memory it crashed. Screen sharing paused. I'm gonna stop the share for a second. Now, see if I can get back into that. I just want to show you his picture laying on the floor. Let's see if I can get that back open again. There it is. All right, let's try this one more time. Ding, 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 ding. Yeah, this computer has got a limited memory. I can only open so many things at a time on this computer. I only got 8 gigabytes on this computer. And I can't put any more on it than that. I've tried. So it's got less memory than my tower. But my tower don't have any sound, so I can't really work with it. The other laptop was supposed to be refundable, but they said the store wouldn't refund it, even though the warranty was within the refund period. I mean, it's a long story on that stuff. But anyway, so there he is laying in the floor, shirt off. Was he running bare naked? I don't know. Was he streaking? He sure was running fast. I don't see any sign of clothes on him. Apparently, they got something draped over his bottom. Oh, come on. This whole thing is like trying to crash him again already. I don't know. Yeah, that article for some reason is crashing everything. I'm just going to exit and kill it. See if I can kill that one page. Maybe it will liberate me to show the next 2 tabs when I do that. We just did a whole video on that. Oh, shoot. Now my USGS. It's funny how you can have a website pulled up, opened up. You come back to it, it's not open. It's got to reprocess all over. Because my memory's so limited on this machine, that's why. All right, we got a bunch of earthquakes in the 5-point range. What was one show in Alaska that I'm not seeing? Let's see now. We got this down here in just Peru. Yeah, 5.0. Caracas, Peru. We got one up here in the middle of Europe. Switzerland, 4.2. Our Puerto Rican friends are dancing heavy tonight. We got this night here off the Juan de Fuca plate, 4.2. And let's see. We got Silver Springs, Nevada. It's like every day we got an earthquake in Silver Springs, Nevada. What's up with that, folks? That's kind of disconcerting. We've seen that going on Silver Spring, Nevada for a while, every day. San Francisco. We just passed the big anniversary of the San Francisco earthquake. Japan's got a lot of stuff going on. Kamchatka Peninsula has been rocking 5.2 ever since they had those big earthquakes that took out the Russian sub base there, their main submarine bases. Back off a little bit. Look at that in the middle of Mongolia, 5.9. That's about the biggest one on the map today. Always Indonesia, Malaysia area. They have a lot of earthquakes. 4.6, Indonesia. They got 4.6 there. Indonesia. Indonesia's a big nation. And we got down here in New Zealand, Mandek Islands. They've been rocking a lot lately. All right, enough of the earthquakes. Let's look at space weather. We're almost done with the news, folks. Space weather. So we got a minor geomagnetic storm watch, but now there was two X-class flares that occurred within, like, I believe, 7 hours of each other right on the limb of the sun. Apparently those don't threaten us. But we got this big sunspot for 4420. It's facing directly at us. And one is rotating clockwise, and one part of it's rotating counterclockwise. That's the kind of stuff, if you get a magnetic field fluxes built up, that it can break them. So this says this is a potentially dangerous sunspot. Don't be surprised if there's another X flare today. And this is Earth facing, so this could throw out a big flare. This shows you the size of these sunspots compared to Earth. This is Earth right here. I don't know if that's supposed to be the moon or what, but yeah, that's the Earth. So just to give you an idea, these sunspots are big. They're facing us. No, they're not as big as the Carrington sunspots, but it says potentially dangerous. Let's hope it don't grow a lot real fast. But it's the kind of sunspots, if they put the magnetic field lines, get a lot of ionized gas in them, those field lines can twist and break and launch that gas in a big flare right at us. So plasma, that's what a coronal mass ejection is. Alrighty, folks, in terms of the asteroid report, there's really nothing that we got to worry about coming up that we know about. Nothing we know about that we got to worry about, but we always see all these near misses in the past. So now the good news, there's no known threats to Earth through the 22nd of June. So that's good news, right? Anyway, enough of that. So there is the news. Covered all that. Now I'm going to pull the chat room up here on this computer. We're going to look at it better. We'll go through the chat room real fast. It's already 1:30. I'm not going to read everything in great detail, but I've already read some. So let's see. I'm going to pick it up about from where I looked at it earlier and scroll down toward the bottom. Crazy critters, the cats. All right, here's something from Mendelik. News report from 2017. As a Caltech student for developing a prototype emergency brake for wheelchairs. So that guy did that. Sure also had a master's in computer science. I like Unabomber. Oh, Lord. He had all kinds of degrees. What was he doing with himself? I still think he is a loser. Thank you for sharing that link, New Days. Well, the carton they knocked over wasn't the one that gathered eggs from the day. It was one of the other ones. Uh, well, these cats are going to go outside. They're going to be charged with keeping the rat population down and keeping Smokey company. They just, we got one more night. It's supposed to get close to freezing here. After that, they're probably out. So lots of quakes in California today. Yeah, I'm seeing that fun time. That's some of what we were seeing. Where'd a man's clothing go? That's a darn good question, Hunter Bones. Did he even was he even wearing clothing? I don't know. If he's carrying knives and a pistol and a shotgun, you think he had something on him. Did they strip it off because they wounded him and had to check his wound? I don't know. Did look strange, him laying on the floor. I saw another image of him from a different angle, and he had something thrown over his bottom side, like a blanket or something. Probably just so you wouldn't see his hiney. But yeah, why no clothes? What was going on? And that video where he's running, you just see a brown blur. Whoop! I mean, he ran fast. You can't make anything out of it so quick. That man was hauling rear end, literally. Anyway, see Shelley. His family was home when law enforcement got there. They wouldn't go to the door until a search warrant got there. Wow, interesting. San Francisco hit twice. Ooh, threes, 3 pointers. That's interesting. Fun time. Yeah, San Francisco, the whole San Andreas fault is overdue, guys. It's cocked and ready to go, according to the experts. It's got a lot of stress on it. They're thinking, well, now they're discovered that when San Andreas goes, the Cascade subduction zone tends to go just right after it, or vice versa. One goes, then the other goes. They're usually short. They strip him down looking for more weapons. Okay, that's probably what's going on. New Days would know that because she's worked a lot with law enforcement. So, okay. So we've gone through the news, we've gone through the chat room. Let me go get the egg carton, the one that's I gathered today. I thought I had it over here, but I didn't. Bring it over here. Oh, guys. Let me go find that one. Fortunately, the cats did not get to this egg carton. So, time to get the lucky. All righty, guys, it's Easter time almost. Now, guess how many eggs did I harvest today? How many eggs did I harvest today? We didn't do this yesterday because they didn't go live. Night before last, only 3. Last night, I actually got 8 eggs. Oh, let's see. We're getting close, but nobody got it yet. How many eggs I get today? How many eggs I get today? 6. New Days got it. It's 6. I got 6 eggs. New Days got the guess right on the nose. So New Days got that guess right. So how many Easter eggs I get? Oh, stop and make sure nobody. How many Easter eggs I get today? How many Easter eggs? Numbers aren't rolling, so I suppose we're safe for the Easter egg guess. No, it wasn't 4 Easter eggs. You still trying to guess the number of eggs? You don't know. You already got that guess right. It was 6 eggs total. How many Easter eggs? Not a bad guess. Let's keep guessing. Keep guessing. How many Easter eggs today? You ain't got it yet. Not seen the number yet. Now, how would I have more Easter eggs than got eggs? Well, all right, Kathy Humphreys got it. Kathy Humphreys, it's one. I got one Easter egg today, just one. Kathy Humphreys got it. Yesterday, I had a total of 8 eggs with 3 Easter eggs, but today, that's 6 eggs and 1 Easter egg. All right, let me find a white light source here. My little headlamps. Probably the one I wear when I turn off all the lights and go upstairs. Yes, are y'all about done with all your damage? Y'all wear yourselves out. They will go crazy until they just get worn out. Then they'll crash and sleep 30 minutes and then go at it again. All right, there's the Easter egg. Let's see. Can't tell better it's blue if I backlight it, can't you? It is blue. I put so much light on it, it looks white, but it's not white, it's blue. So we got 1 Easter egg. That's the full complement of eggs I got today, 6. Yesterday it was 8. Anyway, these cats are going nuts. So, alrighty, folks. Folks are saying in here. Ren got 20 eggs from 3 females. They switched their feed to an agricultural pecule. I don't even know what that is. PCIL. Huh? What is that? Dude, my foot is cramping. I need to walk on it. Oh, Rochelle. Better do that. You better walk on your foot. Mentions green eggs and the crazy critters. Hey, see, Shelley. Yeah. What I put up with, it gets keep a rat force out here. Well, rats in this area are really bad. And since I put cats outside, they went poof. When I first put cats out, and they decimated the rat population. It was at a time that if you would step outside and clear off a little area of ground, you'd come back the next morning and have rat tracks or mouse tracks everywhere. And you don't see none anymore. I've seen some just crossing a little road over here, 1 rat one night. That's a rare thing. These cats, they eliminate. Now, where my bus is at, there's still some out there. They get my bus, some of the stuff further away. Specialized feed for chickens. Well, that's, I buy a specialized feed. What I buy has got a lot of seeds in it, a lot of grain. It's natural stuff. I'm trying to plant a chicken garden with specialized stuff just for chickens to have high protein and things like that. I feed them greens. I just bought some alfalfa hay because I hear they actually like alfalfa hay. I just bought some of that. I've been feeding them a lot of different things. So I spend a lot more money on feed than I would if I was buying eggs. Let me tell you that. That's why I'm planting a chicken garden. So yeah, and I'm planning to put in a cistern out here to collect more rainwater because I was using way too much water in my garden last year. Now I've got the beds prepared, so they shouldn't need as much water as last year, but still buying water, even at 10 cents a gallon, adds up when you got to use a lot of it. And it's not sustainable. I've got to come up with better ways to collect more rainwater to cut the cost. I can't afford a well. There's no way I can put a well in. So what I'm planning to do now is use the pond liner from my aquaponic system I had in when I had my place in Tony. And I hadn't seen Devin back in here. If Devin's in there, he'll know what I'm talking about. He knows what that pond liner is. It was in my aquaponics system there. So I'm hopefully going to use that to make a little shallow cistern. It'll be long and shallow, not the way you normally build a cistern. but it's using what I got because I can't afford to be buying stuff. Got no income, basically, you know. So just a little bit I get off YouTube, which is very puny. So I got a bunch of things to work out here over the next few weeks. Anywho, yeah, I've tried several different brands of chicken feet too. Everything's available here locally. That's otherwise I'd be ordering stuff. Yeah, you can order stuff from like what's the name of that mill over in California? It costs like $40 a bag to ship it here from there. I did order from those. What's the name of that mill? It's named after a town in California. I ordered stuff from them when I was in Alabama. It cost me $80 shipping it to Alabama. I told it cost $40 to get it here. The same outfit. Anyway, I don't know. Didn't know if that was any better. All right, let me check my email. If there's anybody sending anything to my uh, using my website, I like to give credit. So I just always want to check before we wrap up. Dedicated account statement. What's that? Hmm. Something totally different. Anyway, so oops. Let me put that guy's stuff. Anyway, guys. Thank you, Rochelle. I really do need some prayers right now, honestly. I've got some major things to figure out because I owe a lot of, I still got debt issues. So I got debt issues. In any event, Cass acting all innocent coming here at my feet again. They hadn't been tearing the house up. Like now all of a sudden they want loving. Oh my gosh. Little monsters. Little furry monsters. Now they want loving. Once they're tired, they tore the house up. Now they want loving. So I'm petting them on my foot. All right, folks. Hey, we got a super chat. Wow. Fishman. Wow. Thank you so much. Select the Fishman. Second super chat tonight. That's a mighty generous of you. I really appreciate that. I really appreciate that. That helps. All right. So Carol and Fishman are the super chatters for this video. Here, Carrie, give me a super chat on the previous one I did tonight earlier. So appreciate all that. So we're going to call it a night because it's already almost 2 a.m. here. And that sun comes up, I can't sleep. Yeah, I can't sleep long. I wake up no matter what. Yeah, somebody says I need to quit drinking coffee. Previously, it's not going to sleep in my problem. It's having time to go to sleep. Once I get in bed, I pretty much will fall asleep. It takes me about another hour just to get everything processed before I can actually get in bed. So it'll be about almost 3 a.m. when I hit the cover. And if I'm not careful, I'll be going to bed after the rooster start crowing, and that's a problem. Once he starts crowing, I can't go to sleep. Hard to fall asleep with the rooster crowing. If I'm already asleep and he starts crowing, not a bad deal. They'll start crowing about an hour before sun. Yeah, it's late. April Perham. All right. Man, I thought you was April Pelham. I got a niece. His name's Pell. April Pell. I thought for a minute you might be my niece. All right. Nicholas, good morning, 4:46 a.m. Yeah, I'm at 147 right now. What if you built a funnel for rainwater, putting up 3 to 4 posts on 4 sides, large billboards? I don't know where to get billboards at. I got a way to do it. I got a way I'm going to collect it. I'll show you guys when I get her set up. I got a really good idea for collecting rainwater. Now, you can't get mad if I call you a boomer. Oh, Lordy. So, why would you want to do that? What is wrong with being a boomer anyway? Tell me that. Yeah, I'm a boomer. So what? So what? What is wrong with that? Tell me, huh? I do appreciate the super chat very much. 2 of them tonight. I really appreciate that. That helps. That helps a lot. Alrighty, folks. No, I ain't gonna get mad at you now. I wouldn't have got mad, no way, I don't think, but sometimes people throw that out just as, just like to totally dismiss you. Oh, you're just a boomer. I've seen that before. People done it. Like nothing I say matters because he's just a boomer. I've heard that. So if I get a little reactive on that, that's why. Because I've had people use it in a very dismissive, derogatory way. It's like, sure, I'm being a boomer, for Pete's sake. Anyway, enough said of that. Okay, fish man, how old are you? Most of the people that watch me are either uh, Gen Xers or I think that's the generation below me or boomers. Some people, there's a fair number that are actually older than me, but most of the people that watch my channel here are very close to my age group. There's a few young ones that watch, but not so many. 38, okay. 38. Well, you're younger than my kids then. Well, you're younger than my 2 oldest kids, not my youngest kid. All right, fish man. Very good. Boomers, the last of the folks with common sense, says New Days. The fish man might take issue with you, but yeah, I'll let y'all fight that out. Gen Xers, okay. That's fine. Yeah, you're on the younger side of the younger spectrum of my watchers, but I'm glad to have younger people in here because that's what keeps it. I plan to live to be 120, so I need some younger people watching. If not, I'll run out of audience. We got another super chat tonight. Mike Smith, $20. Sorry to hear you're struggling, bro. I don't see much either. Jesus loves us. Well, thank you, Mike Smith. Salute to you. Just so happens that the guy who was the chief engineer for the big balloon company, which is Aerostar now, used to be Raven back when I was buying balloons from them, who went out to sea with me when we launched our Raccoon mission several times, was also named Mike Smith. So appreciate that, Mr. Mike Smith. Thank you. Wow. Good night tonight. One of my better nights in a long time. So I'm much appreciative. Stock. I never sleep. Okay. Good to hear all that. So April Pirum. And when you say stock, what do you mean by stock? Heliums. Yeah. Well, we certainly used a lot of helium. That's one thing that was coming through the Strait of Hormuz that's not coming through now. So the shortage in helium is going to affect the electronics industry, especially IC chips, because they use a lot of helium in the manufacturing of this stuff, because I guess they blow things down with it, keep it pure. So helium is an inert gas. It's a noble gas. It will not explode. It's safe to use in a lot of applications. And it's getting a lot shorter supply. It's hard to buy. When you buy helium, that costs a lot more money than it used to here in the United States. Yeah, I've used quite a bit of helium in my day. All righty, folks, we're going to call it a night. It's been a good night. So I appreciate you, super chatters. Thank you, super chatters, very much tonight. I made it a super night with your super chats. I want to thank all the mods. For New Days has shared quite a number of links in here. I appreciate that, and everyone else who's a mod for keeping the chat room clean. And I want to thank everyone for coming in here watching tonight. That really helps a lot when y'all just watch. So be sure, because look, this platform, I'm getting a lot less views here in the last couple of weeks. Just the last week or two, my views have went just like somebody threw a switch. And I figure it's probably algorithmic. So the best thing you can do is make sure you give me a thumbs up before you leave, and make sure you hit the go in and leave a comment in the chat room. In a not chat in the comment section. Maybe refer to somebody else's comment. All that kind of interaction counts. Hit the update button here. See if I can get a bead on how many thumbs up I got tonight. We got 67 thumbs up, but we got 94 in watching right now. And I know we probably had 300 or 400 people coming here tonight. So give me some more thumbs up, folks. I need some thumbs up to help me out with the algorithm that has no rhythm. Thanks, Greg. Have a great day, everyone. Yeah, y'all made it definitely a great night for me tonight. I appreciate that. So I want to say to one and all, a good night, good day, wherever you are. It's already daytime and where New Days is. I suppose the sun is up in Maine. So, and some other countries where people are watching. So, with that, in honor of Great Atlanta, ho, ho, ho.